This is my favorite podcast of the year. Last year's one was so much fun. I feel like I'm going to repeat myself a lot because all the fun idea, all the crazy predictions I had didn't happen, but they could still happen now. So I'm going to try and do different predictions if I can. But if I repeat myself, I'm sorry. Yeah. But man, this is so much fun. We love our predictions. So what we're doing is 5 each, and we're starting off with our most likely predictions, and then our most crazy predictions at the end. Right? That's what we were going with. But you said you didn't really have much planned out, so you're going to try and wing it.
Improvise.
So this should be fun. Improvise predictions. I love it. I mean, I can go through some stuff that if you haven't got any ideas, I can go through some stuff with you as we go in anyway. So. Shall I go first?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm excited. Yay. Okay. This is the most likely prediction out of all 5 of my predictions, or 8, because I got 8 of them written down, but 5 I'm saying. The most likely one is that Hellblade 2 is going to be coming out. We're going to get a gameplay trailer for Hellblade 2, and it's going to get a release date of the end of 2023, probably November, December time. So we're going to have September, Starfield, October, Forza, and then at the end of the year, we're going to have Hellblade 2. That's going to be our big Christmas game.
Oh, it could be a shadow drop.
Could you imagine if Hellblade 2 was a shadow drop? Blooming heck.
I mean, it happens with the developer threat where they shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush. That game's so
That's
good.
true.
Yeah.
That's very true. Well, it's probably the best Xbox game that's come out in the last 4 or 5 years, probably since Halo, I would say. Yeah, so yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, Hellblade 2 was a shadow drop would be insane. I would love that. I can't see it happening, but it would be insane. I would love that. No, but I think it's going to be our big Christmas game this year. They're going to push that like God of War was last year for a PlayStation. It's going to be the big hack and slash story game. They're going to push it like really hard, and it's going to be really, yeah. Starfield September, then we have Forza for the races, and then the big closer for the end of the year is Hellblade 2. That's my prediction. If it's not the end of the year, I think it'll be early 2024, but I think it is going to be our end of year game. My prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Prediction number uno. Do you have anything for your first prediction?
First, the prediction is Halo Infinite Season 4 will be on the showcase, but at the same time, they announced something that hasn't been leaked, and I imagine they're going to do the crossover with Red versus Blue.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Just imagine, when you have Halo as a live service, and would they been working with Rooster Teeth to deliver Red versus Blue? I think they'll just probably bring that stuff over and have some Rooster Teethy bits there, but then they'll probably announce it on RTX. But then again,
we'll have Ruby in there.
Yeah. Well, you did mention it before me.
I thought I mentioned it before. Yeah, chance. Oh God. Yeah, Rooster Teeth. I suppose so. I mean, they've done it in the past.
Yeah.
The Red vs. Blue had I think they were in Fortnite, so you had Blood Gulch.
Yes.
In Fortnite because of them. So yeah, Blood Gulch might be the where are we? Where are we? So with Blood Gulch.
I think if it says anything to make them event extra special, is that they'll probably release a Blood Gulch map and Griff Bowl because these two are actually tied to the whole show. So it would be nice to include them, as well as some of the cosmetics that make the Spartans look like the characters you expect from Red vs. Blue. But I think when it's been announced, people are going to lambast it because of Rooster Teeth's controversy. And I feel that this may be a hate bait from 343 Industries, because if you bring up something that people are going to fuss about because of the allegations, I think it's just going to draw more people over to get Red vs. Blue and play more Griff Ball. Just like what happened to Hogwarts Legacy. So much hate end up having so many sales. And guess what? There's now Harry Potter's everywhere again is more famous. As if we're pretty much jokes to them. So
it's a shame. But yeah, I can imagine they go, we're bringing back Blood Gulch as someone's made this map as a mod, and they go, yeah, we'll bring it back. And then the advert for the Blood Gulch returning would be the characters from Red vs. Blue going, where are we? Oh, I don't know. like the intro to Red vs. Blue. I can imagine that happening as a little like shadow drop thing, and it's like also bring in Griffball back. Yeah, I can imagine that. I can imagine that as like a shadow drop on the day of the conference. Like play Halo Infinite today and get Blood Gulch and Griffball. That'd be a good shadow drop as well. I think that'd be a decent one. Something quite simple to do as well. I think that would be good.
I may add that the Red vs. Blue may have moved over to Unreal Engine, and they did the one in like Fortnite, but they also did the original series called Red vs. Blue Zero, which is on Unreal Engine, but that one wasn't well received, and they just went totally quiet on it. They did like the Q&A with I think it's Griff and Simmons when they just doing the questions, and it was all based on Halo Infinite. But I think because of the controversy, I think it may have been canned, but I don't know, because Red vs. Blue's just kind of vanished in favor of like other projects of Rooster Teeth. But now they're just like focusing on podcasts and RTX. It's just like, you know what? I mean, what is it something we're going for anymore? Like, there's of course Ruby and stuff like that, which I feel is just pretty much life support for the whole company.
Yeah. So that's your safest prediction. So I'm really curious what your crazy ones are going to be like.
Yes.
That's pretty crazy. So my second one, which is still kind of crazy, I think we're going to see id's new game. id Software. It might be a Quake reboot, but if we're going to go really crazy, Hexen reboot from id. Let's do it. That would be awesome. So they made Doom, they've rebooted Doom, and now it's time to reboot either Quake or Hexen. And I would love to see Hexen get rebooted. Only problem is the Activision own the rights to Hexen. However, Xbox are in good terms with Activision, and they're trying to buy Activision. Maybe they could have got the rights to Hexen before they went into negotiations with Activision, possibly. I'm not sure. Be interested to see a reboot of Hexen, though. I would flip my mind. If you guys don't know what Hexen is, it's like a magical version of Doom. As I said, but it's owned by Activision, technically, but it is an id game. So, yeah, bring back Hexen! Or just make a new game altogether, why not? Just make a fourth pillar of id Software, or fifth pillar, because they got Prey, haven't they? Or, yeah. Yeah, so that is my number 2. What do you think?
Yeah, pretty good. I think I wasn't really expecting that, but I think this nice thing you mentioned about Hexen. So yeah, it's quite good. I mean, it's possible because they already like re-released Doom 64, Quake, those kind of games. So I think I could see more ID software coming out, being like remakes of, remasters of like certain games. So that would be good. Yeah.
Because it hasn't released anything since the DLC for Doom 2016, so or Doom Eternal even, or 2016. Yeah, Doom Eternal. They haven't released anything since the DLC for that. So they haven't really done anything for 3 years or 2 and a bit years. So I think it's about time we see something new from them, even if it's in early development. So yeah, my logic. What is your next prediction?
That was going to get more interesting. Elder Scrolls 6 is announced, but it will feature multiple countries like Cyrodiil, Skyrim, and even Daggerfall, for instance. But they only shown it as a CGI trailer just to tease people into thinking, oh, it's coming.
Okay, yeah, because they already did the. Like, they just padded over the world and it just says Elder Scrolls. So, I mean, are you imagining we're going to get, like, Elder Scrolls, what is it, 7? Or is it?
No, 6.
7, right?
No, 6.
It is 6.
Yeah.
So, Elder Scrolls 6, and then, like, a subtitle, and then that'll be it. And, like, some plot stuff.
Yeah, so, I think it's been many years since Skyrim came out, so I think it's about time they can, like, roll out the punches with it. But I don't think it's very likely that Fallout will be like announced. But I think the thing is, there was a game that had multiple countries in the Elder Scrolls game before, and that's Elder Scrolls Online. But that's an MMO.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but you could reuse some of those assets, couldn't you? I suppose if
Yes.
they're like the same, so that could work. That could help. I mean, we know this. We already know the next Elder Scrolls game is in development, but it's in early development because obviously it's the next game after Starfield. So obviously, yeah, this would be a really early trailer, but it would be an interesting one. I'm sure we might see it. I mean, they showed Starfield 7 or 8 years ago, and it's still not out. So why not? Yeah, why not? Like, and maybe we'll get a name for it, as I said. So maybe like Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim 2 might be called. I don't know, or
nah, it'll be
Skyrim 2.
Nah, it'll be like. I think it will be an entirely different name, like Elder Scrolls, unless they're going to throw another gimmick, like Elder Scrolls for Oblivion.
I'm joking.
And that's not like sticking to Cyrodiil. It introduces to the new mechanic where you go into Oblivion realms. And that is the only game in the series that lets you do that. Where Skyrim is just like you're fighting dragons, even though it doesn't mention dragons, it's just Skyrim as a land.
Yeah, okay. Elder Scrolls 5. I'm trying to think of a good name we could have for it. So I'm all I can think of is stupid stuff like Apocalypse or Endgame or Civil War or I don't know. They'll come up with something.
Anything that's not MCU titled.
Maybe they'll go Elder Scrolls 0 or Elder Scrolls 1, like a reboot of the whole Elder Scrolls universe.
No.
Elder Scrolls, Elden Ring, Elder Scrolls Souls.
You know, it would be really interesting if Elder Scrolls goes into the future and you have guns instead of weapons.
That'd be good. Yes, in space, ideally.
But then you get something like Starfield.
And that was the joke I was making. Or what would be good is if I'll play Elder Scrolls and then like nukes went off and then you're like in a nuclear fallout. The Elder Scrolls 5. I'm sure there's going to be a good name for it. I'll come up with a name later and I'll be like, that was amazing. But at the moment, I can't think of anything. So
let's move on to the next prediction.
Tears of the Kingdom. Elder Scrolls 5, Tears of the Kingdom. So how did they steal our name? Sorry. Anyway, yeah, your next, or is it my next prediction? I've lost place.
Your next prediction.
This is more of a, I'm hoping this is going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Right. So a couple of days ago, Double Fine put a thing up on their Twitter account saying, these are all these games. Yeah, I mean, I will get. They brought up a thing saying all these games are coming to Game Pass, and then they had 2 boxes at the end with a question mark on them. Going, ooh, like, so there's 2 mystery games coming to Game Pass that are made by Double Fine. So, yeah, Psychonauts 3 is probably the most likely or logical guess of those. But what I want is Banjo-Kazooie free, Banjo free, make it happen. The rumors are, like, people saying that they should have Double Fine making Banjo-Kazooie. Tim Schafer already said nah. But I think he was lying to us.
Well, that would be a bad thing, isn't it?
Hey. But yeah, I mean, like, Xbox owns the IP. No one's used the IP. I think Double Fine would be a good developer for Banjo-Kazooie. Like, you could have, like, a smaller team that maybe doesn't have Tim Schafer involved, just like a smaller part of, like, a smaller team of Double Fine making a spin-off. I would totally be down for that. Like, Banjo-Kazooie with a bit more deep writing like Psychonauts. I would totally be down for that. Basically, I just want Banjo-Kazooie, and this seems like the most likely way it's going to happen. So that's my theory.
Yeah. I think it's
just... gone, Everwild sucks. Let's get rid of Everwild. Let's just make Banjo free. That's the other option.
I think it's just... if there's no Grant Cook up on it, then it's probably going to flop. Because you need his music to make it extra special, as well as some like really interesting sound effects with it, because it's supposed to be more cartoony.
I want Banjo-Kazooie! Yeah!
Something that is worth bearable about.
Yeah, but basically, I don't think it's happening, but I'm just hoping, because like Xbox knows that people want a new Banjo-Kazooie game. They've known for years people want a new Banjo-Kazooie game. I don't care who's making it. Just make it, goddammit. You got so many studios. Just give it to someone small. Give it to an indie studio, for Christ's sake. Get it done. We want Banjo-Kazooie. Get it done. I don't think it's happening, but I would love to see if we just see Banjo come on the stage or like the music starts playing. I'm gonna flip out in the conference. I swear. So, what is your third prediction?
My third prediction is Sonic games are coming to Game Pass.
Ooh, that's good. I was going to say Sega. Yeah, I mean, like I have a similar idea here as well. Like maybe Xbox and Sega have made some kind of deal to have all their games exclusive to Game. Well, not exclusive to Game Pass, but have all their games on Game Pass, like they did with EA. That would be cool.
Well, bear in mind that Sonic games, Sega had this exclusive to the Gate deal to bring Sonic as exclusive to the Wii, but that was like a decade ago. And they recently announced, and they have announced like a few years ago, they are bringing Sonic titles over to PlayStation Now. Only like 3 games. But yeah. I imagine that if Sega's got to get on well with Xbox, then they're probably going to be bringing Sonic games over to Game Pass. So it's just like boosts the library for kids to check out, as well as some streaming. So it should be really good.
Also, obviously, they've had all the Yakuza games on Game Pass. That's a big deal. And also, there's a big rumor going around that Persona 3 remake is coming to Xbox. And that's going to be at the conference.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So they got a good thing going on with Sega. I keep saying they should just buy Sega, but you know, I think that they have a good thing going on there. I could see that happening. Some kind of Sega Sonic deal. I mean, I've always, like, it comes up every episode. I think Xbox should buy Sega for their back catalogue. It just makes so much sense, because then you would have a catalogue that rivals Nintendo's and rivals Sony's, and you'd be able to compete with with your library of games. I mean, it makes sense to me. But, you know, what do I know? And you'd be able to invade Japan a bit better as well. So that was your number 3, was it?
Yes, it is number 3. And I think you mentioned the Persona 3 remake to be a third prediction and 2, is it? It was one of my side predictions that I wasn't going to mention, but the fact that you mentioned Sega, I thought I'd just mention the fact that Sega have already in talks with that, was rumored. So there's a rumor that's been going around. So my fourth prediction, this is where we start to get a bit crazy and off the rails a bit here. I think we're going to finally hear about this Xbox Nintendo partnership, whatever it is. We've seen Sarah Bond on a stage with a Nintendo Switch behind her. And we've had Nintendo Switches behind Phil. I know it is this house, but they've had on an actual stage, they've had Nintendo Switches and stuff. There's a load of Xbox characters in Super Smash Brothers. They've got Banjo-Kazooie and GoldenEye on the Switch. I feel like there's something going on between Nintendo and Xbox. I don't know what it is, but I can imagine some kind of partnership. I don't know what it's going to be. It might be something as simple as we might have a spin-off game like was it Mario plus Rabbids, but it'd be like Halo plus Mario or something. It'd be really weird. But I can see like some kind of like spin-off game that Xbox gets to use some Nintendo IP, or it could be xCloud xCloud on game, or it could be something as big as Game Passes on Switch, and you have access to all the first-party games on Switch through the cloud. That's also a possibility. But I think that we're going to start to hear about this partnership. Probably won't hear about it at E3, but I feel like that is an interesting thing that's going on, and we still don't know why. There is something going on between those two companies. I feel like they're getting along quite well, and you know, stick the boot in on PlayStation, take PlayStation when they're down, team up on them and tag team, like, yeah, you and me and Nintendo, we'll work together, let's get them. But no, I think something's going on, and I want to know what it is. Conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat. What's going on with Nintendo? So that's my fourth prediction, and I have one that's even more crazy than that. Wow. What's your fourth prediction? Oh. Well, the fourth prediction is Ifald is going to have a shadow drop, and is in the style of Grounded, only with a much bigger map.
Wow. Avowed shadow dropped. Wow. I thought Avowed would be a big Q1 or Q2 game next year, but that would be insane. Could you imagine that? And then like 2 months, like we shadow drop it, everyone's playing it, and then it's like, oh yeah, the Starfield director's on in a minute. We should be watching that. Now we're playing Avowed. Go away.
That is if you can then download it first.
That's true. It might be after the Starfield Direct, yeah. That would be interesting. I mean, would that cannibalize Starfield? Probably not, especially if it came out in June. That's interesting. That's a bold prediction, but I could see it happening in a weird way. I would totally dig that.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, I'm totally down for that. I feel like there should be a shadow drop in this conference at some point, but I don't know what it would be. I feel like saying Blood Gulch and Griffball are in Halo. It seems to be a more likely shadow drop than Avowed. But hey, you never know. I think Avowed is one of the biggest games on the future schedule, but you never know. As you said, Hi-Fi Rush did really well when it was shadow dropped, so why not? Screw it. Life's too short. Let's go. Yeah, I agree with that. Anything else you want to say about Avowed before we move on to the final?
Let's move on
to the final prediction. Okay, so I had a couple of random ones that I wanted to mention, which are not my proper predictions, but just like honorable mentions. Overdose by Kojima might be there. There's the rumored Mandalorian game, which I mentioned last year. There's the rumored Gears of War collection, which we might see as well. And I also mentioned Persona 3 as well. Also, you didn't mention it, but I should have probably mentioned it during the Halo thing, that there's a rumored Halo Battle Royale game coming out as well that's been rumored as well.
I suppose it could come out at some point in the future, but it depends if like certain affinities, like whether they're going to make it or going to assist with Halo Infinite. But Halo Infinite is already like made to be so complex because they're talking about like cross-core armor coatings and bits like that, but they already made the system so complex that you couldn't easily expand on it. And same with the events, so I don't know, it's a bit up in the air with it.
So my bold prediction is that we will see some kind of new hardware, either an Xbox Series SS Super Slim, V. I think you're broken. Ow, my ears. Stop. So the Xbox Series X without a disc drive, or the Series S that's even smaller or a more powerful one. But I think more likely is we might see the Keystone, which is the streaming box. So like a cheap streaming box that just streams games to your console for your TV. Or we might see the Xbox equivalent of the Q Lite. We might see a handheld streaming device from Xbox. I mean, if PlayStation are doing it, why wouldn't Xbox be doing it? And I would probably be a better system because you could probably play games from the cloud as well and not just off your Xbox. So you'd probably be multi-cross thing. Or maybe they are some kind of partnership with Steam Deck. Who knows? But I think we might see some kind of new hardware from Xbox. As I said, there's maybe some kind of streaming device or a cheaper version of the Series X without a disc drive, or a streaming handheld. I think we're going to see some kind of hardware from Xbox. I don't know what it's going to be, but I think we're going to see some kind of hardware. And it'll be coming out this year before the end. It'll be the big Christmas push. Yeah, yes. There you go. That is my crazy prediction.
Yeah, I think that will be quite interesting to say at least. So
I think I said handheld last year as well. I think that was my thing for last year as well, but it's okay.
I still absolutely miss the PlayStation TV. I think even though Phil Spencer's like denies the possibility of a keystone device, but I think having something that is like the PlayStation TV, where it's like a very small device that is connected by HDMI and powered by USB, is very practical. It's a shame that Sony had discontinued it, so you had to like stick to the PlayStation Vita. But there's still people who are interested in the PS Vita and they love playing it. So, I mean, there's definitely still a market for these. It's just a shame that Sony did not like unleash a successor to the Vita and instead having a Wii U controller for the PlayStation 5.
I mean, if they bring out a Keystone, I'll buy one. I'll probably have it in my office. And then I can play my Xbox games in one room and then play my Xbox games in another room without having to move it. I mean, that sounds like a good idea to me. I would buy one.
Yeah.
And that's my crazy prediction.
Yep.
So what is your crazy prediction?
That's so difficult, but I'm going to have to crap out something that is going to be mind-blowing, which has got a bit of a likeliness to it.
Ooh, exciting.
A Gears of War Unreal Engine 5 game.
Ooh, Gears 6? Question mark?
Well, when Unreal Engine 5 is announced, I think it would be longer till Epic unleashes anything that sort. But it depends if they're focused too much on like, Fortnite. I mean, Gears 5 has been announced, being released for the Xbox One, and that was a few years before Series X comes along. But then again, it's got upgraded for that console too, so whatever.
Yeah, fair.
But I think we still need to see more Unreal Engine 5 games coming out. So I reckon the Epic Games is going to pull off a really big one for it.
I can see that. Gears 6 or Gears Tactics 2 or Gears Kart. Dom! Fire like a chainsaw at people.
Yeah.
I would play that. I would totally play that. I don't care. That is our predictions for 2023's showcase. I also wanted to mention the news that the Jeff Keighley's conference is coming out the week before, which is literally next week, which is like the Summer Game Fest predictions. I won't go bother doing predictions because sometimes nothing happens. Sometimes they have stuff like an Elden Ring or whatever. Are you expecting anything coming from that? Because I'm not.
Well, the Summerfest.
Yeah.
I don't know. They'll probably bring out a spider jousting game there.
Yeah. Was it Spider Joust? I can't remember that game. Yeah. Or that fishing simulator.
Heck.
That was good. Spider Heck. That's it. Yes, that was a fun game. Yeah, I mean, as I said, last year they showed Callisto Protocol, which ended up being a bit of a turd. And the year before they showed Elden Ring, which was awesome. But apart from that, they didn't show anything interesting in these shows. So I've not got my high hopes for the Summer Games Fest, but I thought I'd mention it because people might go, why are you predicting Xbox and not predicting Summer Games Fest? Because I don't expect much from Summer Games Fest. That's why.
Also, we got lives.
And we got lives too.
Anyway, so we need to move on and ask you the final question. I have a question for you, Chief. I'm going to cut to the chase and ask you, which game would solidify Xbox Showcase this year as the best conference of them all? Something that is better than any Sony conference in history.
What game? Is one game that does it? One game to rule them all.
I thought you already got one in mind.
I don't really. I mean, Banjo 3 would make me lose my mind, but I don't think that's big enough. Starfield is great, but we already know about Starfield. Halo is awesome, but it's kind of lost its lackluster. I mean, what would kill the conference is if they can just come out and go, yeah, we own Activision now. Every Activision game is now on Game Pass. I think that would probably completely win over the show a bit. Overdose?
Overdose?
I think Overdose by Kojima has a good chance because Hideo Kojima is amazing. And if it looks like anything like Metal Gear Solid, I think that could do that could do like a really big turnout. I don't know what else it could do, really. What do you think? Have you got any ideas? 'Cause I'm struggling.
I was kind of hoping you would actually mention Microsoft's answer to Super Smash Brothers, but then...
Ooh, that would be good. Yeah. Or some kind of like big crossover, like Killer Instinct 2 or Killer Instinct versus Xbox. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
And you'd have all the Xbox characters. Yeah, that would be cool. I would do that. Or Halo Kart.
But then I was going to mention Battletoads, but then there's already been released, and the reboot is just like not that huge.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like big games. I mean, Halo is the biggest franchise that Xbox owns, and they've kind of cocked it up, unfortunately. And then Starfield's great, but we already know about that. So yeah, I think maybe like a Smash Brothers clone would be fun. I think that'd be hilarious.
Yeah,
it'd be hilarious. Trying to think of other franchises they could do that would blow people away.
I mean,
like
they already
had their own Marvel game.
They already did mashups of other franchises when Sony did like Sony All Stars Bot Fighting or some sort.
That's PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale, which I actually quite enjoyed that game. It wasn't terrible. Maybe if Xbox got like the Metal Gear Solid game, we already know is coming to both. I don't know. That's so tough. That's so tough. Yeah, trying to think. There's some good stuff that they could show, but I don't think there's anything that would literally blow everyone away. That would be like the one game that could rule them all kind of thing, you know. Be interesting though. Be very interested to see where it goes. Monster World 2 might be a show that might be interesting. Halo Battle Royale. There's some good stuff they could show. Fallout New Vegas 2. That could help. That could blow everyone away. Interesting. There's a lot of interesting things they could show. I think it's going to be a lot of good games and not one big game will turn the tide, I think. One game won't do the trick. I think you need quite a few, but it'll be interesting for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Anyway, sure. I think it's just like, I'm not expecting so much for the Xbox showcase, so it's kind of hard to predict. But I really do hope Microsoft will come up with something that will completely trump like Sony showcase, because that showcase over there is something that even got fanboy Sony ponies like getting pretty depressed by it. So it's just like, I don't think it'd be hard to beat that. Hopefully they'll beat it. If they don't beat it, I'll be very disappointed. There'll be such a letdown. Oh, I mean, games are getting more stale, really. I mean, you did mention how games are changing, and it's no longer going to be fun games or some sort. Yeah, we're old. Nothing's built for us anymore. Everything's designed for kids. That makes me sad to think. Everything's Fortnite. Anyway, I think we're just going to wrap this up. So I thought the predictions is going to take 2 hours, but then again, it's just like, I just need to move on because I do have a few other things, and also didn't need the bits of things. So I'm just going to get a crack on and wrap this up. So I think the predictions are fun. So how do you rate my improvisation techniques? Yeah, pretty good. I thought you did pretty well. Your predictions, considering you did already plan. I had a load written down. I still were it was a bit wobbly. That was enjoyable. I enjoyed that. We'll have a good predictions episode. We might do a couple. There might be some leaks or whatever next week. We can talk about them and maybe do some more predictions next week. Yes. But this is our main predictions episode, and I really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the conference now. Bring it on! It can't be worse than the Sony one, surely. Please, Dart. Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.